What's up, Raptors fans? It's the Raptors HQ street team in effect once more. As always, Sasha Kara, me, Adam Francis, and we are going to be talking a little bit about upcoming week because we kicked that off last week. 4 games on the schedule. Let's go through them one at a time. Monday, we've got Orlando. What do you think?
10 keeps rolling, in my opinion. I'm not sure if it's home or away, actually. I think it's at home, right? Yeah. I mean, the last time we faced Orlando, it was a typical Raptors game. We hung tough with them. You know, we competed, and then 5 minutes left to go, and all of a sudden we're down by 15. And, I mean, I just see more of the same. I'm not too sure. What about you?
Yeah, I think Orlando's this one weird team that sometimes they match up well against, and they'll play close. But I think, yeah, they'll fall apart in the end. And so that would be 0 for 1.
Yes.
And so the next game, Denver, Wednesday. Denver, kind of a weird team in transition, made trades. I don't know how that one's going to go.
I mean, they're well coached, they're well organized. Kenneth Faried's a guy who I really liked last year, and I really wanted the Raptors to maybe make a run at. Denver's kind of interesting because they've got these sort of blue-collar guys like Aaron Aflalo and Ty Lawson and Faried. And they've also got some head cases like Al Harrington and JaVale McGee, who was recently traded. So, I mean, they're better than us talent-wise, so again, I can't help but see a loss.
Yeah. I think I'll put that one as maybe the asterisk on the week, but I would say there's some potential, but I think that's probably a loss too. Nuggets, after that we go to probably the marquee game of not just the week, but arguably the season, except for, you know, the whole insanity thing. But we've got LeBron and Wade and, of course, Mr. Bosh back on Friday.
Mr. Bosh, yeah, I've missed him. I'm happy he's back. It's been way too long. Chris, you never called me. So, yeah, I mean...
Disappointing.
Very disappointed, very disappointed. But, I mean, realistically, who sees a win? The Heat team, I mean, say what you will about Eric Spoelstra, but he seems fairly competent based on what I've seen. Might not be the biggest name out there, but he's got them playing good basketball, and that's all that matters, right?
Absolutely, and LeBron just, you know, on a tear, MVP per season. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that'll be a crushing, unfortunately. But you know, you'll get a full house, and it'll probably be fun for the fans for a couple quarters.
Yeah. I mean, I think we'll hang tough. Maybe not till the 4th quarter, but I think the energy in that arena, like we saw last year, they might keep up. Going to be interesting to see the kind of reception that Chris Bosh gets. I know there's going to be people there booing him, but I mean, we were both in attendance last year.
Absolutely.
Here, and I mean, there were signs. It was awful in there. People were just destroying him. And it's interesting to see because when these guys come back to Toronto, their first game back is usually the worst.
Absolutely.
And it usually doesn't get more worse than that. I mean, we saw when the Magic came to town earlier, Hito was being booed, but there were sort of these half-hearted boos that were neither here nor there. So, but the Bosh thing's fairly recent, so I guess we'll see what happens, right?
Yeah, I think I agree. And I remember last year, it was bad, but it wasn't Vince levels bad, so it'll be interesting to see as the years and games go on whether this sort of tails out a bit. So that's 3 games, so we're looking at 0-3 probably. Potential. So the big one then becomes Washington on Sunday, which is in Washington. The other 3 are here, of course. So that one's a bit of a wild card too, considering so far how they've played Washington.
Yeah, I mean, we did lose to them earlier in the season during our low point, I guess, when we lost to the Wizards and the Sacramento Kings back-to-back, but that's probably a potential win. I mean, that Washington team is they're out of control. Like, what do you think about how they've structured that team? And I mean, now they've got Nene and they got John Wall, but they've also got a glut of these random players who, I mean, it's going to be hard to find takers for them.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's really going to be a marquee. It's funny, I think you're going to have back-to-back marquee games. You're going to have marquee in terms of fan attendance for the Heat, and then you're going to have marquee in terms of the lottery because that's a team they're going to be fighting with to get a top pick.
It would be nice to lose to them, actually. I mean, it would help that tank.
It absolutely would, yes. So the last thing is that I'm curious about for next week is whether we see any other players added because Russell Butler was waived, roster's down to 12, and I think there might even be some minimum salary concerns in terms of the team. So I think big question for me is, do they bring in someone like a project D-League, somebody that comes in to maybe a Patrick O'Brien like test period?
Yeah, I mean, you talked about Terrence Williams a couple of weeks ago. Actually, no, last week, and but he's been recently picked up by the Kings. So I mean, I don't follow the D-League that much, and I don't follow these sort of under the radar players that have sort of been forgotten about. If you asked me a month ago, I would have said Gerald Green, and I mean, the Nets have him now, and it's working out for them. I can't give you a definite name of someone I'd like to see. What about you?
I can't either. I think a lot of the sort of bigger name guys have been picked up. We've recently seen even guys that are in the NBA that have been let go, Boris Diaw and guys like that have been picked up. And I think, some of those areas have been pretty well scouted. So D-League, I think, might be an option where we see, or somebody maybe that was playing overseas, who knows? And I think that's something we're gonna dig into on the site a bit too. What might be some options? Because now's a good time to test it, right? You're losing games. You've got 20 or 25 games left, whatever, and you give it a run that way.
Yeah, no, of course. It's the best time to do these kinds of things. I mean, we should be playing our young guys 48 minutes a night and just focusing on developing our core, because at the end of the day, what else can we do? We're not fighting for a playoff spot, and might as well just see what we got in terms of talent.
Great stuff. We want to hear what you guys think about the week ahead. Throw us your comments, suggestions, whatever the case may be.